Here's something nobody tells you. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't about resources, connections, or luck. It's about something way more personal, something you carry with you everywhere. And until you face it, nothing changes. Let me show you what I mean. What if your brain is working against your dreams? Let's get real for a second. You've probably noticed this pattern. You set a goal, feel motivated, start strong. Then something happens. That voice shows up. The one that says, "Who are you kidding?" Or, "This isn't for people like you." And just like that, you're back where you started. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain has one job: keep you alive. Not happy, not successful, alive. And to your primitive brain, anything unfamiliar registers as potential danger. New opportunities? Threat. Big changes? Threat. Stepping outside your comfort zone? Major threat. So it does what it's designed to do. It protects you by keeping you small, by making you doubt yourself, by convincing you that staying where you are is the smart, safe choice. And you listen because these thoughts feel true. They feel like your authentic inner voice. But they're not. They're echoes. Voices from your past that got internalized. That teacher who doubted you. That parent who said, "Be realistic." That friend who laughed at your dreams. You absorbed all of it, and now it plays on repeat, disguised as self-awareness. Psychology calls this your internal critic, and it's a master manipulator. It doesn't show up as obvious negativity. It shows up as logic and practicality. It tells you you're being mature by lowering your expectations, responsible by playing it safe, smart by avoiding risk. Meanwhile, your real potential sits there, waiting, unused, getting smaller every time you listen to that voice. Instead of challenging it, a Stanford University study found that our brains are wired with a negativity bias. We remember criticism more intensely than praise, and we believe our limitations more than our capabilities. It's evolutionary, but it's also outdated. You're not running from predators anymore. You're running from possibility. So here's the question that matters. How many versions of yourself died because you believed thoughts that weren't even yours to begin with? What if everything you think you can't do is actually just something you were taught not to try? How you've been programming yourself for mediocrity. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because this isn't about your past anymore. It's about right now. About the choices you're making today that either reinforce your limitations or break them. Think about yesterday. How many times did you choose comfort over growth? Scrolled instead of started, waited instead of acted, stayed silent when you should have spoken up. Every single time you did that, you sent your brain a message: "Yeah, I guess I really can't handle this." And your brain believed you, because that's how neural pathways work. Repetition creates belief. Action creates identity. When you consistently choose the easy path, your brain wires itself for avoidance. It becomes your default setting. This is emotional intelligence in reverse. Instead of managing your emotions to serve your goals, you're letting your emotions manage you. Fear says, "Don't try," and you don't. Doubt says, "Not yet," and you wait. Comfort says, "Tomorrow," and you believe it. The brutal truth: most people are living on autopilot. They're not making conscious decisions. They're following patterns established years ago. Wake up. Same routine, same thoughts, same excuses, same results. Then they wonder why nothing changes. But transformation doesn't come from big dramatic moments. It comes from tiny acts of courage, repeated daily. It comes from doing the uncomfortable thing before your brain can talk you out of it. From choosing aligned action over comfortable inaction. Research in behavioral psychology shows that our brains need about 66 days to form a new habit. But here's what they don't tell you. Those first 21 days are brutal. Because your brain will fight you hard. It'll throw every excuse, every distraction, every reasonable justification at you to get you back to familiar territory. That's the test. Can you keep going when every fiber of your being wants to quit? Can you show up when motivation is gone? Because that's where real mental clarity comes from proving to yourself that you're stronger than your programming. What's one thing you've been avoiding that you know would change everything if you just faced it? Why? You're terrified of your own greatness. Here's something that's going to sound backwards. You're not actually afraid of failure. You're afraid of success. And that fear is keeping you stuck in a life that's way smaller than what you're capable of. Think about it. If you really stepped into your full potential, what would that mean? You'd have to show up differently. People would expect more from you. You'd have to maintain that level. You'd lose the excuse of, I haven't really tried yet, and that's terrifying. Because right now, you get to play it safe. You get to say, I'd have done that if I really wanted to. You get to protect your ego by never truly testing your limits. It's a comfortable lie, and lies always are until they're not. There's this concept in psychology called self-sabotage, when you unconsciously undermine your own success. You procrastinate before important deadlines. You pick fights before big opportunities. You get sick right when things are going well. It's not coincidence. It's your brain's way of keeping you in familiar territory. But here's what that's really costing you. Every day you hide, you betray yourself a little more. You know you're capable of more. You feel it. And when you don't act on it, that gap between who you are and who you could be becomes painful. It shows up as anxiety, depression, restlessness, that nagging feeling that you're wasting your life. Personal growth isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you actually are, underneath all the fear and conditioning. It's about remembering that before the world told you what you couldn't do, you believed you could do anything. And you were right then. You're just wrong now. So what's it going to be? Keep hiding behind, not ready, and not qualified, and not the right time. Or admit that those are just stories, and you have the power to write a different one. Drop one word below that represents who you're committed to becoming. What does your highest self look like? If this hit home, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. What if today is the day everything shifts? Look, you made it this far. That means something. It means part of you hasn't given up. Part of you still believes there's more out there for you. And I need you to hold on to that feeling right now. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You already have everything you need to start. You don't need more time, more money, more knowledge, more confidence. You need to decide, right now, that you're done living small. Every person you look up to started exactly where you are. Scared, uncertain, unqualified. The difference? They moved anyway. They didn't wait for permission or the perfect moment. They just took the next step, and then the next. And eventually, those steps added up to something extraordinary. Self-awareness is powerful, but only if you use it. You can know everything about why you're stuck and still stay stuck. Understanding your patterns doesn't change them. Only action does. Only choosing differently every single day, until different becomes normal. You've got two paths in front of you. One is familiar, safe, the same life you've been living, with the same results you've been getting. No judgment if you choose that. Seriously, some people are genuinely content there, but if there's this burning feeling inside you that says, I'm meant for more, then you already know what you need to do. Stop waiting. Stop preparing. Stop looking for more evidence that you're ready. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. But start today. Pick one belief that's been holding you back and do something that proves it wrong. Just one thing. Then tomorrow, do it again. That's how you build a new identity. Not through massive overnight transformation, but through consistent, courageous action. Through showing up for yourself, even when nobody's watching. Especially when nobody's watching. Your old self is fighting to survive. That's normal. But your future self needs you to be stronger than that fear. To trust the process. To believe that you're worth the effort. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, what's the first limiting belief you're challenging today? What's stopping you from starting right now? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's build this new version of you together. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and reflective purposes only, and does not replace professional, psychological, or therapeutic support.